Hey, what's up guys? Dave here, and it is getting pretty chilly outside. Winter is upon us. I haven't done a hot drink yet on the channel, so I thought, let's try something. So today we're gonna be making a little riff on a hot buttered rum, but we're gonna be doing a hot buttered bourbon, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to do so that you can enjoy it through the winter season or impress your friends. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want more drinks with Dave. And now, let's go get to the hot buttered bourbon. Now this cocktail owes its inception, of course, to the hot buttered rum. And I can tell you that the history of hot buttered rum actually dates back to the 1600s. And it's believed that it originated in early colonial America, where rum was a popular spirit due to trade with the Caribbean. Now the hot buttered rum was probably inspired by a similar drink of the time called the grog, which was a beverage consumed by sailors in the British Navy. And grog was made with rum, water, lemon juice, and sugar, and it was often served hot and even had butter added to it to make it more satisfying. I think that's a fair theory that these drinks are connected. Anyway, hot buttered rum became very popular with the colonists during the cold winter season and eventually became synonymous with holiday celebrations. It's seen endless riffs and variations over the years, but at its core, it's basically just a cocktail made with a base spirit, hot water, spices, sugar, and butter. There is one thing that you probably want to consider when you're going to be making hot buttered cocktails, and that's because there's two ways to go about it. One way would be to just add in all of your ingredients separate, the butter, the spices, everything, into your glass, and then add your hot water and mix it up. And I kind of think this is a hassle, especially if you're going to be entertaining guests, you're going to be making a lot of drinks, or if you plan on enjoying the drink over and over throughout the season. Now the next way would just be to batch out your butter and spice mix ahead of time so that it's always ready for you, and that's the way I like to do it, just for ease. So before we do anything, let's go ahead and make the butter spice mix. And to do that, we're gonna start with one mixing bowl and, of course, our butter. And make sure it's softened and unsalted. Add in 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now that we've got everything in the bowl, we're just gonna mix it up until everything is nice and incorporated. Be careful, it can get a little bit messy. And we're just gonna mix everything up until it looks like a golden brown sugary putty. And there will be some of this butter mix that's stuck to the mixing blades, but just use a spatula to get it off. It should have the consistency of like a thick clay. This is what is going to give the cocktail all its character. If you're going to be going through all of this, you could just easily set the bowl aside and use what's in there to make your cocktails. But if you made more than you're gonna be using, like I did, then you're gonna wanna store this. So I'll show you the way that I do it. The easiest way to do this is to get yourself some plastic, set it down on your surface, and then we'll just use a spatula to get the rum mix out. Now once you have your butter mix on the plastic, you're just going to sort of roll it over, and with your hands, we're gonna form a log, a maple sugar butter log. This can go right into your freezer and it will keep all winter long. And when you're ready to use it, you just pull it out of the freezer and you chop off what you need and you're good to go. So I will just put that aside. Now that the butter's out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the other ingredients. So we're going to be using Buffalo Trace bourbon, our bourbon butter spice mix, and of course, hot water, because you can't have a hot buttered anything without some hot. Now let's just put it together. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients here. I've got my whiskey, the butter spice mix, and my hot water. And the first thing you're gonna wanna do is temper your glass. So we wanna heat this up, let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. We don't wanna end up mixing this cocktail in a cold glass. Once the glass is hot, you dump out the water and we'll add in our butter spice mix. And we'll add 1.5 ounces of our bourbon. And then we'll top it with our hot water. And this is gonna help it melt the butter. And we'll go ahead and grab a bar spoon and give it a nice stir. You don't want any little chunkies floating around in there. Top it off with a little fresh whipped cream, then garnish with a cinnamon stick and grate some fresh nutmeg over the top. And that is a hot buttered bourbon. All right, it's hot, it's sweet, it's got this richness from the butter and then the whipped cream on top. Yeah, you've got to have the whipped cream on the top of this. The nutmeg hits you in the nose, it's like the holidays, And the maple and the cinnamon play perfectly with the bourbon that you really can taste, but it's not overpowering. If you like hot drinks and you like hot buttered rums, I recommend trying this hot buttered bourbon recipe. Oh, and if you do try it, let me know down in the comments below because I'd love to hear how it worked out for you. This is a winner that'll keep you warm all winter long. I hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.